So the Takeover drops.
Yes.
Nas is done when that record drops. Nas is done. In the public eye,
Right.
Nas is done.
He's down, yeah.
I'm like, I listened to the record. I'm like, you can't come back. I mean, Jay's momentum was so crazy. You're in the camp. Like, you're in the camp that's getting bombarded with the Takeover.
Wasn't Nas more collateral damage in the Takeover?
No.
It was direct.
No, it was, I mean, Jay just lobbed bombs and they were all strategically placed. So, what's the strategy now, man? What's the plan? You're in the war room.
Be still.
What do you mean be still?
Stillmatic, be still. Just be still. And it'll just be bestowed upon you. And that's
Well, what's that conversation though?
That's what that was. Just
Right.
be still. Just be still.
And is this
that's
coming
what we
from
did.
you? Is this
No, that came to both of us.
Right.
To all of us. Like, we were sitting there and it was just like, sitting there listening to beats and just like, just sitting there. And yo, he was just writing. He was just writing. And it was like, no one was talking, nothing.
What was the mood like though?
It was like, yo, we gonna get him. We gonna get him.
Energy creative.
Nah, it wasn't like, yo, son, nah. I mean, you know, because there are a few levels of shedding, like I said, you know, but in the beginning it was just like, yo, but when it came time for Ether, like it was like, you know, all right, we about to go in the ring now. We about to go in the ring.
After that Takeover bomb was lobbed, right? At what point, and I mean, be honest, at what point did you know that y'all had it and that it was a comeback?
No, well, see, Ether was watered down. How it came out, it was watered down.
Right, how so?
It was watered down. There were a lot of darts that were getting ready to be shot back.
Right.
Like, and it was like, you know, Nas is a thinker, man. He's a thinker. Like, he's a crucial thinker, and he thought it out and he got it right. I'll leave it at that. Like, he got it right. But it was
like, he didn't want to go overboard, or he just wanted to be direct or precise. What you holding on to, man?
He's holding on to it for a reason.
Yeah.
Yo, man.
Like Just said though, the other day, sometimes people can go too far if people can edit themselves. Learning how to edit yourself.
Yeah.
That's the key to life.
Yeah.
Nas edited himself in this instance, knowing that it wasn't just him and Jay.
There's sometimes, no matter what the situation is, there's certain lines you just
Because it's not just
don't
Nas
cross.
and Jay. It's
the
two
Right.
camps of
Right.
people,
Right.
groups of people, people on the periphery who don't understand but just see these two titans clashing.
It might be ready to ride for those titans.
Yes.
And that's what.
Definitely.
That's why I said sometimes there's certain lines you don't cross because
Once you cross them, you can't.
But it's not even that. It's just that you cross that line. But once you cross that line, now somebody from the other side
setting action,
runs into
setting
somebody
things
from
in
the other
motion.
side. Like, I've been part of those situations.
Right.
But you also need somebody in there that's gonna say that. Was that Nas that said that, or was it somebody else like saying like, listen,
Right.
we may need to edit this type stuff?
First and foremost, Nas knows that he's a recording artist putting music into the world, and this is not for this little time frame. This is, you're stuck with this. You have to perform this. You know, like, he's a professional recording artist, just so happen to be hip hop. So he always keeps all of that in mind, in my opinion. He's always, you know, the replay value even to this day is like, yo, all right, that little time capsule, time frame right there is like, yo, with style, like, you know what I mean? It's still stylish, and it came off the way that it was supposed to,
Right.
like, really
I mean,
clean.
again, just going back to, you know, what I was saying before, is it's never the two titans you really have to worry about.
Right.
It's
the soldiers,
the
the
outside.
yeah.
Because there's been times where we've been out and run into another crew from somebody that we were at war with at some point, and the Titans ain't around.
It's the little
Right.
man.
But the guns is getting flashed at us.
Right.
You know, we're out in the club or at a bar, at a function or whatever, and we're just minding our own. All of a sudden, we see such and such from the side we might not mess with, but it ain't nothing between us. We're not worried about it. All of a sudden, I turn to my right, and it's right to my right here.
But were you aware of that?
Yeah.
Like, did you, like, when going out, did you know if you've seen these people that could happen?
Yeah, but see, Because
You're not thinking about that.
I'm not thinking about that, but the main reason I'm not thinking about that is because I don't go out like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you see me out more now because my role has changed a little bit within the business in terms of DJing and whatnot. But at the time, I spent 90% of my time in the studio. So I'm not thinking about, I'm aware, but I'm not thinking that I'm just go to the bar down the street real quick and grab me a ginger ale, just take a break from the studio,
right.
and all of a sudden have the joint to my waist.
Right.
You know, and those are the kind of things just like, that's why I said sometimes self-editing is necessary.
Right.
Because if you go too far, you never know what going from the other side is going to want to, and then it just turns into something that nobody wants.
Right. We got, y'all are the two experts in the room, you know, sonically and the whole nine. How do y'all compare the two records, man? Takeover and Ether. How do y'all compare them? Sonically, thematically, mood-wise?
I mean, I think Takeover was the better beat.
Right.
By a long shot. And, you know, I feel like
it's a perfect.
Well, like Large said, Jay is a scientist that comes with facts.
Right.
I feel like Ether was an overall onslaught, not necessarily based on facts. There was a lot of crack, just wisecracks and whatnot. Whereas Jay was just like, yo, this happened, this happened,
right.
This happened, and this happened. I think the biggest issue that I have with that whole situation, and this is the only thing I'll say about it, I don't like to speak on it much, but just there were certain other influences in parties in the middle that weren't really a part of it, but kind of made themselves part of it. And the result of that was when Hot 97 gets involved and the radio stations get involved and they're comparing Ether to Super Ugly.
Right.
When it really should have been a comparison of Ether to Takeover.
Takeover, exactly.
And I feel like that manipulation, that situation was somewhat manipulated.
It juked the numbers in a sense.
Yeah, but by people that weren't really involved.
Right.
And that, so I don't like to dwell on old stuff too much, but I feel like that was where, to me, that was the unfair point. Because there were manipulations in the middle of that.
Right. And what?
I like Takeover.
Right.
I like the beat. I like how he was rocking on it. Like, it was a high point for Jay as an artist.
Of course.
It was like, yo, he kind of spitting and is connecting and the bite of the beat and everything like that. I was like, yo, outside of all the nonsense, this is hot.
Right.
You know, I didn't agree with the beat for Ether. I really didn't. I would go in and Nas, he's, you know, because I'm just, yo, come on, we gotta get him, we gotta get busy, it gotta be hard, it gotta be ill. He was like, yo, just chill, watch, I got this, watch. We're gonna use this one. And he wrote a first draft. And I'm like, you know, and as a matter of fact, the first beat he really wrote to was a Swiss Beats beat. It was just, and it was a lot more energy and a lot more hype. And what Nas did, he took the whole situation to the hill on Queensbridge. And if you ever go to Queensbridge to the hill, what they do is everyone stands around and they just snap on each other. They just snap on each other. And so he kind of, that's kind of what he did. And when he came up with that angle, I just smiled and laughed, like, because like I said, Ether was watered down. Like he had it, it was really, he really took him to the hill. He really took him to the hill. Like, he was saying some funny stuff that was like, but the temperament of Ether, I like that Nas was like, yo, yeah, I'm gonna fall back on him and just like, all right, boom, like, yeah, like that and shit, like, definitely, like, so, but the beat to the Takeover was my joint.
I mean, I personally think, and this is not coming from an expert, but just as a fan, I thought Takeover was a flawless record. Like, it's a flawless record. But it was like, Jay was like the skillful fighter in the ring, and Nas had just drank a fifth and came out and just was swinging.
Nah,
you know what I mean?
I think Nas was like weaving them.
No,
like
but it had so much in, like Just said, Jay came in technical. Like, he's like, I'm gonna paralyze you.
Right.
But Large is saying Nas rope
and
doped him.
And Nas was rope-a-doping them, like, yo, like, that's.
I mean, you know, regardless, man, that was one of the great.
It was.
It's a great moment in hip hop.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Get ready for combat. No escape.